to the Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. It's Monday, June 22nd, 2020. I'm Crypto Jack, sitting in for the vacationing Justin Wise, and I'm joined by analyst Alex and Jason this morning. How you guys doing?
Not too bad. Hope everyone's doing well.
I'm doing great, thanks.
Good stuff. All right, so today we're going to be reviewing the markets and taking a brief look at some of the top news stories in crypto. Justin, of course, won't be back until Thursday, but we will have some of our team filling in with the latest market analysis. So Bitcoin and crypto markets this morning opened with a nice uptick to the upside, and any premium members who are watching Alex's analysis over the weekend were likely rewarded with this move. So let's review what's going on in the markets. Alex, what do you say? You take us through with the latest?
Sure thing. All right, so yesterday we closed with a weekly doji. Now, for those of you who might not know very much about candlestick analysis and that sort of thing, essentially when a price chart prints a doji, especially on a higher time frame like the weekly, that's often a sign of a reversal in price or otherwise indecision. Price just hasn't been able to make any headway in any direction. And, it's very interesting for us to have printed that weekly doji because so we should have a lot of bearish momentum going into this weekly doji that we just printed yesterday. We should have had, we've been having 1, 2, 3 months of uptime. We've stalled before 10K, and we put in this really large candle just a few days back, or just a couple weeks back. Basically from 10.4 down to the 9.3 area. Now that's a really significant dump that we had. So you would have thought that we were going to have more bearish momentum heading into this weekly, but we just didn't. Looking on lower time frames, it becomes a little bit more clear why that is. And sorry guys if I'm jumping around here, but I've got I chart on 8 different markets for Bitcoin, 7 for Ethereum, and then I've got we got Litecoins, XRPs, and TRXs. It helps to be able to look at price from different angles. So if you come down to the lower time frames, this is the last week of price action where we made an assault on 10K one last time. We couldn't hack it. We broke down, and then we tried to break through 9.3. And boy, did we try. I tried to count it out. It really depends on how you want to count it, what time frame you're looking on. If you pull down to the 15-minute, you could probably be like, well, that's that one. But, roughly 10 or so times over the last week, we assaulted 9.3K, and we just were not able to break below that order block. Price wasn't able to go down. So we started going up. So I dumped my hedge around 9,400 when we closed the weekly yesterday, and we weren't able to break that. I've got a few charts here that look nice and clean. Hold on, let me pull them up here. Get rid of these numbers if I can. So for the weekly, this is really the area that it seems like we just haven't been able to break through. And you can see it's previously acted as resistance. We broke above it, tried to break down below it, haven't been able to, and now we're using this resistance as support, kind of a springboard. You can see we've done a lot of trading, a lot of accumulation in this area. Resistance here, support, broken support, kind of resistance again, fake out, etc. So I think that's kind of our weekly view going forward. Back down into the daily. I know my TA isn't quite as good as Justin's, but hopefully it'll still be legible for everyone.
No worries.
All right. So here we see that 9,300 area that hasn't been able to be broken. Resistance, support. Going forward, I think we can expect more resistance around the 9,800 to 10K area. I do expect this to ultimately be broken. I don't know I feel like price has made a decision. Like, we know what direction Bitcoin is going, but I can't tell you how exactly we're going to get there. My crystal ball isn't that clear. So, I see that there's heavy resistance in this area, and of course we have the resistance up in the 10K to 10.4K area that we previously rejected from. We just did a little distribution up in that area, broke back down. So, it's possible that we hit resistance and that we get like some heavy wicks back down into this 9.3K order block area. But I don't expect 7K anymore. I don't expect 8.5K anymore. I really feel like
is that trend line below of that basically what could be forming a big pennant. You don't believe that's going to be broken?
Pardon?
That bottom trend line.
Oh, this one right here? Exactly. Yeah. No, I do not.
I mean, we could wick and then come back, be bought back up to it, but yeah, I mean, I would agree with you there.
Yeah, I can see us this region. It's been such an attractor. I showed you guys like headed down into this thing like 10 times over the past week, and we were not able to break this order block.
And if you redraw that top trend line there to where you don't include that one outlier wick that just sold off immediately, I mean, you could be looking at just a textbook pennant there.
Yes, so you can certainly draw it out like this, and what we have here is actually an ascending triangle, and according to Bukowski's book of chart patterns, these usually break upwards, usually meaning like we're 65% of the time. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on. I have these lines here because I originally drew them. They made sense, and we've kind of kept to them.
It's not like they don't make sense there. I mean,
yeah,
that's the whole thing about trend lines. But I was saying, like, if you take that yellow line from there to now bring it down a little bit more, just to the top of.
Oops, wrong yellow line.
Yeah, but don't make it horizontal. Like, make it go from the top of. Just exclude that little wick, and it would be coming down. Yeah, lift that up a little bit, just that end.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, like that. Like, and we could be range bound in that for. I think you'd have to come to right there. Is where it'd have to be.
Oh. I don't like that.
And that's what I'm saying. Like that candle right there with that big wick up and then the sell off. To me, that's an outlet.
Like, I like what you had here, where like this is like essentially an ascending triangle right here, and I think this makes sense. Like the other way, and I don't know if that makes sense to
me. That's one of the whole things about trend line. Very subjective.
A little bit.
Very subjective.
I agree. But one thing interesting, we can also draw this as a channel.
Yeah.
And then I think that could be an interesting view. Okay.
Especially if we wake up.
Something will let me do it, but it makes sense. Anyway, it's bullish, guys.
Yeah,
so
bullish, sure.
And beyond Bitcoin, I want to kind of take a step back here and take a look at what the broader market is doing, because Bitcoin is actually not where all the excitement is. So we've been kind of hovering around the 66% Bitcoin dominance mark for a little while now. And now Bitcoin dominance is a lagging indicator. It's not a leading indicator. It's not going to tell you what's going to happen, but it can give you a sense of what is currently happening in the market.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it does not make sense to say that like Bitcoin is losing some dominance here, but clearly money is flowing into Bitcoin. So what this is telling us is even more money is flowing into alts right now. And where is it that we're seeing that? Well, I'll tell you one place we're seeing that. We're seeing that on Ethereum. Now, Ethereum is looking super bullish. It's kind of incredible. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit here. This is something that I was looking at yesterday. I wish I just longed it right away. But, we didn't have the daily close yet, and I kind of wanted to see how things turn out. But we're forming a very strong bullish divergence here, as you can see. nice little oversold Bitcoin cross up that we're gonna have here.
It will be confirmed.
We've got this order block that we were also not able to break on Ethereum. And I imagine if we go down in this area, you will find we had a similar thing where it's like, oh, boom, 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 boom. Sorry, we're just getting bought up too much. At what price is this? $225. Like $225 and below was like basically the order block, where the market thought, you know what, this is a great price. Let's buy it up. Boom, done. We're right back to where we were last week. Just did that this afternoon, which totally busted my Ethereum Bitcoin short that I had been kind of playing. I thought certainly looked very weak here. If we go back in time, I think you'll see it made sense. I swear. Let's go back.
I swear it made sense.
Yeah. You know, this last week, you're like, oh my god, I gotta get out of Ethereum right now, right? So, fast forward in time, things have not quite worked out that way. If we close above 25,000 here on Ethereum Bitcoin, I think you should long this with extreme prejudice.
That's a very important level there.
Yes, it's just a strong psychological level. It's been resistance. It's been support. You know, if we're above 25,000, you know, I think Ethereum is just gonna. It might just fly.
It might be news that Ethereum 2.0 might work out.
It doesn't even matter. The technicals are there, guys. The technicals are there, and look, we're just getting a strong thing. Oh, yep. Yeah. If we close above this level.
Yeah, that's crazy bullish.
Like,
damn. Yeah, if it closed at the level of where it's at right now, long Ethereum.
Yeah. I saw someone had this charted out, and I'm not sure exactly how I feel about it, but it does make some sense to me. Yeah. I think if you
for resistance becoming support.
Yeah.
There, I would agree.
Yeah, let's see what happens if we draw this out.
I mean, it still looks. You have to change it a little bit.
Let's see. Let's follow this. Let's see where this leads.
To zero. Yeah, that's some good correlation there. And I mean, if that
I don't know, guys.
If that really is the trend, I mean, you're beginning to see the very beginning of that breakout.
So if you think about this, like this happening, like think of this as like the median of a trend, okay? Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to tell you guys that this line is controlling the market, but just think of this line as the median of a larger trend. So price is oscillating above it, price is oscillating below it, but overall, price is breaking down here. So presumably we have a change in trend down here, and this trend interacts with this old trend. Yep, and then we break above the median, and then I don't want to say sky's the limit. Let's say, yeah, if we break this area, this strong area right here, I can see Ethereum being immediately attracted to this area right here.
And area. The funny thing about it is too, when you look at this line, if you go back in history a little bit, I mean, even if you would have just followed it as soon as like it crosses, to just switch its direction.
Yeah.
So like if you would have just longed it as soon as it crossed to the upside, like back in history, you would have had a great gain like there, and then once it came back down and tapped it, longed it again, and then once it went down here and crossed, you could have decided.
You should be short here. Oh, stay short. We're not above it. Oh, stay short. We're not above it. Oh, stay short. We're not above it. Oh, hey, what's this? We're above it.
We're settling. We're consistently being above it. Like that's, I mean, you don't have to say it's like, because that could be subjectively back tested, but I mean, there's something there whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Just leave this. Just leave this down arrow there for posterity. Here lies Alex's ETH Bitcoin short. Anyway, guys,
the last time it's ever under there.
Yeah. Guys, this is the last time Ethereum Bitcoin's ever going to be under 25,000. Now, I don't know that for sure, but it does look incredibly bullish. And
That's an exciting
if we
chart.
stay above this level, price will be immediately attracted up into this area. I would not be surprised to if you're going to take this long. Here's a cool 20% from 25,000 up to 30,000. We could even hit 35,000. That's it's roughly, I think that's around 40%. Off the top of my head. But yeah, that looks super bullish. I wish I could say the same for the other major alts. Litecoin, it's really lagging. I'm seeing greatly reduced volume here. I think this is being absorbed. I think what's going to happen is ultimately we're going to retest this this liquidity down here at 4,500. Going to tap that, and then probably slowly make our way up, and then start making highs. So I do feel that way for Bitcoin, for Litecoin. This is still a good area to have it. I'm not dumping that small position the group took in it. Although I am kind of regretting it for the opportunity cost, because if we put that into some shitcoins, man, we would just be swimming in it, because shitcoins have been crazy. Let me finish up with the major alts, and we'll head on over to shitcoins, and then I'll turn it over to you for a little bit more analysis, Jason, and then we'll finish up with the news, which Jack is going to lead. So,
Right on.
All right, so BCH here on the weekly. I had previously talked about how much I really like this spot. This place has been a significant bottom for a while now, for basically the past year almost. We are currently getting, this weekly signal right here is like a day old, so really pay no attention to that. This is really, as far as we're concerned, what the market looks like right now. So it's kind of iffy looking, but we are still over that critical support. So I still feel decent about this position, but that
man, that's starting to look ugly.
Yeah, it's just sad, because the market has been doing so well in certain areas, and our shitcoin trades have just been dynamite. But the major alts, they've been really lagging behind, and we can see that here. Let's go back over to these are all, by the way, contracts you can find on FTX, the ALTPERP, MIDPERP, SHITPERP, EXCHPERP, and Justin has talked about that. These are basically futures traded on an index that's like an imaginary basket of coins. Like, in the ALTPERP is, you got to imagine it's like Ethereum and XRP and, it's Litecoin. It's just a basket of those, and it represents that. Now, and this has had like a good up day. Oof, gotta love that. That is a very strong bullish divergence right here. And so you can see, like, as I mentioned, money is pouring into the entire market right now. And that is why Bitcoin's dominance is falling, because more money is pouring into the alts right now. This looks super strong. You don't gotta be a fancy schmancy technical analyst to be like, wow, I would rather be long here than short. Shitcoins in particular, I thought we were getting some weakness. I wish I could pull this chart up, but it would just be more hassle than it's worth to switch over to what the old one was. But the weakness was developing in all of the alt markets, and you saw it just before today. If we just go back in time to just before today, go down there. Oh, that's not that great looking. This is, not that great looking. This looks really weak, especially this, topping below zero behavior right there. I would kind of want to short that. And then even SHITPERP over here. God, I love the name of that contract. even SHITPERP over here. You look at this. I want you to work. There we go. Oh, that's actually still not that weak looking.
Yeah, topping above zero.
Yeah,
there.
but SHIB coins they've been stronger. And why don't we zoom out here and take a look at what this looks like? What does this mean for shitcoins? Man, shitcoins are fucking breaking out, man. We got a retest this week, and we're off to the races. Exchange coins, not there yet. So exchange coins, think FTX, think Huobi token, think OKX token, maybe ABBC. I don't know. Some of you know what that token is, some of you don't. It's kind of like a niche exchange, but MIDPERP looking good. I would not be surprised to see us take off and have us land up in this area. Maybe we're not quite ready to break out like we are with shitcoins. And then altcoins, it's kind of weak looking. Shitcoins are just boom, out to the races. Altcoins, they're lagging behind, and we see that in in Litecoin, we see that in Litecoin, we see that in XRP, which
still dumping.
It's still dumping. I had actually put on a rather strong long on XRP right around in this area. I really liked it. We got a strong wedging behavior is what I would classify this as. And we just
continue.
Yeah, we fell out of the bottom of that. So I'm not sure what's going on with XRP, guys. I know what's going on with XRP. It's one of the shittiest of the shitcoins. But it was looking more bullish to me than it's turned out. Why don't we actually go over and look at some of these shitcoins that are basically leading the market? Do we have time for that, Jack?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, so some of my TA is spread out between two different kinds of charts. So we'll page back and forth, and I'm just going to run through these. You know what? Let's have these coins on the weekly so that we can see just the overall trend. Stop looking at XRP. All right, so these are the trades that we have open right now. Okay, that's right. We got the breaking Bitcoin indicator. Now it's the TA you guys are used to looking at. Okay, now you guys must feel so much less bereft. Okay, let's turn off Quadrigal here for a second. All right, so we don't have enough data here on Beam Bitcoin. Beam, but however, as you can see, kind of broke through the bottom here at 380 sats and found a new bottom at 320. And then since then, been off to the races for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. And then just today, we've had a pullback. Let's take a look over here.
You're on the weekly, right?
I want to show people the weekly so that they can see what the trend has been like for the past couple months.
Nice.
All right, boom, boom.
And it's looking like those signals, if you were to backtest them the same way as we run it on the daily, those are still looking like good signals.
Yeah, they're still fairly good. I would wish for a, if you're trading on the weekly, definitely probably a shorter baseline. I mean, first of all, most of these charts don't have enough data to have a baseline if you're doing 60 on the weekly. But also, I mean, price. I don't think price has like a 60-week period to what's going on, or at least not at this point in the market's histories. They just don't. But so what we have here on Nuls, I would say they're probably going to get a strong pullback in this area. Daily on these. You guys get the weekly ideas. So
that's been done nothing but march up.
This we hit take profit 1. I guess we're going to be out of this one. Poly. Oh, time to take profits.
Yeah, with the action on Bitcoin today, you're probably gonna see quite a few pullbacks in there.
Hmm. You know what we are seeing, but interesting. So we're seeing pullbacks on these.
But there's a few that you're not.
Okay, so I guess what we should expect going forward is we should expect pullbacks on the Bitcoin pairings for the alts,
Mm-hmm.
but with USD value increasing in the alts because all right, so you know what, that's good. So this tells us if we're gonna see the Bitcoin pairings decrease in value, then we're probably going to see a large increase in Bitcoin because that's where the USD value is going to be coming from in these alts. So,
and why, like what you were saying earlier with Bitcoin
yeah,
dominance and how it's a laggard with what we're seeing today, you might start seeing that
yeah,
ratio change again in Bitcoin's favor because it does appear. I mean, besides Ethereum,
yeah,
Ethereum is definitely leading the way though.
yeah. All right. Well, you know what? Let's take a look at the low caps, mid caps, and let's see which ones are gaining today. Let's see which ones are losing. Maybe that can kind of inform us about which basket of alts are going to do best going forwards because shitcoins have been doing good for a few months. I wouldn't be surprised to see
Might be the
people start
majors
taking
turn.
profits. Yeah.
Yep.
You know what? Let me.
Look at, like you just said, look at LTC. I mean, of course, Ethereum usually leads the charge on this stuff, but I mean, we could start to see majors start to soar instead of the low and the mids.
Yeah. Let's just run through the low ones on the weekly and see which ones are looking the best and see which ones are looking like they're due for a pullback.
Yeah. The only ones I'm currently in, Guy and Dean.
So yeah, Loopring is definitely looks like we're going to keep pulling back here. And keep in mind, this weekly, this is like the last 12 hours or so. So we're seeing some major shifts in momentum coming up here on it's like we kind of rejected from here. I wouldn't be surprised to see us pull back to this area and then probably break out. I wouldn't be surprised.
Man, those are
Mana.
That could have been a signal yesterday.
It was a signal, and we took it.
Okay.
Yes. So we got into Mana Coin right around here, guys. So we definitely hit take profit 1. We're going to be moving our stop to break even. So
How is
yes.
that not take profit 2? That's got to be take profit 2 as well.
All right. Well, let me throw on the historical thingamajigger. Yeah.
I don't think you have it on the vision.
I knew that.
Boom.
So,
Only
you know what? I think, yep, we just missed. We just missed take profit 2. But that's okay, guys, because if we close above 472, that's good. That's good.
Well, regardless, it's with this, what are you practicing? Are you practicing stop loss to break even, and then stop loss to take profit 1 after 2, or are you just letting them ride?
What I do is, so for the alts especially, these things have been trending so hard. I want to let these ride if at all possible.
Yeah,
so with these alts, at take profit 1, I do set immediately to break even. We got to have that. That helps keep our hit rate up. That helps keep us from turning winners into losers, which can happen. So, take profit 1, move stop to break even, and then when we hit take profit 2, I actually kind of like pull it back and I either put a trailing stop at 1.5 ATR behind, or if we hit take profit 2 and then immediately pull back towards take profit 1, sometimes I'll just leave the take profit or the stop at break even, especially if like that happens all in one day, and just kind of see where things play out towards the end of the day. Just kind of give the alt room to breathe because as you can see,
you never know.
They're very volatile. You come up, go back down, and you can easily get yourself stopped out of a trade if you're too overzealous with your stuff.
Especially with any kind of Bitcoin pairing.
Yes, indeed. All right, so moving right along, let's keep this train going. Moneta, I remember thinking just the other day that this looked pretty good. So we got a continuation long yesterday, and I didn't take it. Glad I did not, because we've had a pullback here.
Well, that's way
Which is
too high.
Yeah, but
Well above the qualifying line.
yeah, but you don't have to worry about the qualifying line on continuation trades.
Yeah, but you still do take it into account, and it's probably one of the reasons why you also had a little bit of discretion. It's like, I don't think I want this one right now. I mean, but to be honest with you, looking at it right now, I mean, it could be a good grab as a baseline pullback from that initial signal.
Oh, definitely. I would consider taking this at daily close. Although, here's why I didn't take it yesterday. We didn't have WADA confirmation. And see, guys, that's what happens when you don't have WADA confirmation. Wasn't enough volatility, and so price pulled back.
Is this running the same system that Justin was for continuations where you don't need WADA, or is this running off explosion level of?
No. Yes, you do not need WADA, but it's really nice to have it. And so when I looked at it, I was like, there's other trades to take. Why bend myself over backwards for this one?
But yeah,
or bend myself over forwards, really, is what happened.
I think it's just important to point out what discretionarily you looked at, especially when people are trying to move to a systems-based trade. Like, that system would have been a trade right there, and you're supposed to take the ones that you get. But as you learn your systems better and stuff like that, discretionary, you're like, oh, well, either reduce risk or don't take it at all,
Yeah, obviously, if you're running the system purely algorithmically, automated style, then you can't have like loose things like that where it's like, this, sometimes I take it without the WADA, sometimes I do, but in that case, I would say tighten up your system and only take the continuations with WADA. If you're finding out that sometimes it's okay to take it without, just take it with the WADA, and then maybe you take less trades, but
because it'll just make your data that much better. It can never hurt if you add another stipulation. That's just going to weed out more trades. So, I mean, statistically, you'd believe that it would weed out losers as well as winners, but you've already back-tested the system to be profitable.
Yeah. So, the other danger is having too many moving parts to your system. Simple is always better, but it's true. Having more restrictions on when you can take a trade, probably better than having less restrictions.
Always better.
Yeah. Okay, here we've had some interesting TA on AGI Bitcoin. Looks pretty interesting to me, and very solid inverse head and shoulder behavior, I must say. It exists on the 3-day, it exists on the daily, like you can see this. I don't know, I feel good about this. You've got a pullback to retest the this area. I have not taken this trade yet. I'm waiting for a little bit more confirmation. I want to see a bounce.
I would want to see it close above that Keltner channel as well of the baseline.
Yeah, for sure. And not only am I not looking to take it right here, I might not take it until we cross back above 220 here. I'm looking for a bounce here for confirmation, and that's cool. I can afford to wait a little bit, because if this plays out, we're looking at this playing out to somewhere like right around here, and that's a fantastic trade. I'll take that every day, but and
you're gonna have to.
We could also just get a simple pullback to this area right here, which would not be unheard of. Which is, by the way, right where our stop would be, of course.
Yeah, that's one of the beautiful things about Parallax, because you need to get a lot of volume in today to turn that green.
Yeah,
and it's going to keep you out of that.
Okay, let's see. VIB, Bitcoin pairing pullback. Vibe, Bitcoin pairing pullback. Ooh, broke above this very strong support I had seen here. Okay, wish we could short this. That looks nice. QLC, a little bit of a pullback, but this could actually keep going. This is not.
You have to wait till close. You can't do anything with that right now. But that's definitely a more bullish case than a lot of.
Yeah, this is actually something where if you could potentially long this spot right here, boom, retest, keeps going. I could see that. I do wish we had a little bit more volatility, but let's see, pullback, CMT, strong pullback yesterday. That's basically a fake out right there. got slapped in the face by Cybermiles. Ren, ooh, strong today.
Very strong on Ren, man. Ren looks
Okay,
great.
so Ren is up 13%. Let's take a look at this on the weekly. Let's see what the kind of trend is. Ooh, hello. So
We just broke above pretty important.
so we tested below here, and then this 3-day candle is closing today in 6 hours. So, and then we're going to close on the 3-day above this strong. You know, I'd say Ren's something to keep an eye on right here.
Close for sure.
Yeah, you could take this on today's close for a 3-day trade. This would be strong. That could be solid, guys. You know, it's not often that you see this kind of resistance break on a 3-day chart, and it feels like extra good confluence. I mean, you got parallax here, you've got your explosion level rising, you've got retest below here. So keep in mind, basically for the last 3 days, you were underneath it, and then boom, today break above it.
3 white.
So on the daily, we're breaking above this. This is important resistance. Keep your eyes on Ren, guys.
That was a 3 white soldiers on the 3-day, wasn't it?
Let me go back and take a look. Where? Oh, on the 3-day. Sorry.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Bigger. Yeah, that's a continuation right there, and we do continue through.
Would have been a good call.
Ooh, pull back here. Probably a pullback right to this area. I would imagine this previous level consolidation, and then continuation.
I would say the top of that block.
You're thinking up here?
Yeah, that's where I would think, where it would test and then bounce back up, but then it could continue down.
Let me pull this open. So I've got the chart where I do the daily signals, and I've got the chart where I do my own personal TA, because I like a bare bones TT and a baseline, and that's how I do like all my trading basically. So let me go back over here. So we were looking at this. Let's see what this is like with the VPVR. Type it in. That's why Justin always types it in. You never find it. Let's hit BTC. Let's not look at that.
Top one.
Yeah.
Right to the top of that block.
Oh, all right. So we could pull back here to a point of control. That's probably where we're gonna end up pulling back. If we break the point of control, I would imagine we'll come to here, but I don't see us coming back down to here. As you can see, we've kind of already carved this area out in its own little point of control. I think all the accumulation's been done. That is something that I often look at, often look to see, like, have we gotten to the point where it's pointy and there is a point of control in the area? If that happens, oftentimes the accumulation or distribution has already been done.
Have you back? That'd be a great thing to backtest. Just how often you get a signal from like time transformation like that, where it's pointing and then to a point of control every time it does that. See how often it actually tests that. That might be interesting.
Yes, it would be very interesting to take a look at. Delete that. Pull back on RCN. MATIC. So MATIC is interesting here.
MATIC. I was in bottom feeder signal from MATIC, and I felt it starting to slip, and I got rid of it in profit, and then it wicked up and it took my take profit with it. Like, it would have been a good call.
So the weekly is interesting here. It looks like we reject hard from this resistance. Boom. And we all remember this day.
Oh yeah.
Let me actually zoom out so we don't have to look at that one day.
Scars, yeah.
Yeah. So break here, and then we break. We close above this strong resistance last week. So yesterday.
Testing that point of control on there.
Retesting. I would want to just like I don't know.
Just give it some time on this one, because I mean the argument could be for both sides on that.
Yeah, it feels like we're a little overextended here, but
I think you'd get a test
the same
of that
time,
lower
this
point of
close-
control.
this close above resistance is very bullish. This resistance at 225 right here. Previously support, resistance, resistance, support, resistance. Close above it. Support, question mark, to be determined. Let's continue onwards. TRX, not gonna lie, kind of looks like it's winding up, especially considering we just couldn't get any more bearish momentum on the weekly. Falling bearish volume, rising bullish volume.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I kind of want to take it this way. Your thoughts?
TRX looks pretty good there. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
especially with a weekly close above the last open candle, I believe would be extremely bullish.
Just closing above
Just
here.
closing above that, I think is going to be, like on the weekly, that's going to be what % gain? I mean, just even if it comes up to hit just where that other resistance is, I mean, that's still a good long.
Well, I very nearly shorted this area. Oh, we had a short signal here, and I don't know, it just hasn't been very strong. It's an initial short signal. We don't have a WADA, and we haven't really been able to break down below this this support right here. Anyway, TRX Bitcoin is not there, but it is looking like there is a bullish case to be made going forward. But it's not one of the strong ones we're looking for, like Ren here. So
Ren's definitely an outlier right now.
Yep. Pull back. I would imagine we're probably going to pull back more here. But if we got back above the continuation and we got like a baseline bounce looking thing, if Parallax, I would totally take it. I would totally take that.
Like just looking at that chart over my past trading, like that thing screams to be long. So in my head, I think that's going to get a pullback.
See, what area is this right here? We are over previous resistance, so it's possible like this is the pullback.
Yep.
And then we get continuation from here. I'd like to see a consolidation right here. A consolidation above resistance. But pullback. Oof. I don't know. Falling volume on that. Well, this is, yeah.
It's looking weak. I feel like that's going to get a pullback.
I like how this is staying. Yeah, I'd like to see a pullback to here. But, I mean, case could be made for an inverse head and shoulders right here. In which case, we would take that up to this area right here. Strong pullback on Celer. Finally, I know a lot of people here have been talking about Celer. I would want to long this probably around 36. If you can get back in this area, that's when you should be trying to get back into Celer Bitcoin. But yeah, we're looking at.
I would wait for the close on that.
Yeah, but we're getting this closed at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Today would be a very important day to look at.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that could be continuation. That could be a continued sell-off. Like this close will be pretty important, especially with that indecision doji right next to it.
Yeah. I don't know. Depending on how the 3-day close, I might find a way to get myself into this daily signal. We're actually not getting a signal that I can take here.
Yeah, not from this system.
Yeah. I would not be surprised. Actually, I think you should maybe start buying Yo-Yo as long as we're in this area right here. What a beautiful consolidation area this is.
Mm-hmm.
This area basically has to be retested by Yo-Yo. That's such a strong consolidation area. So
I would say
consolidation here.
Through it.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing falling volume on the sells here, I would just buy up Yo-Yo in this area right here. If you're watching this, it's just buy hand over the fist because we will proceed upwards from here. What does that look like? Just kind of boom, buy in this area, and then just put that there for posterity. So you, yeah. Oh, and then that might make a very interesting. But yeah, for now, Yo-Yo's pulling back. Data, it's just garbage. It just looks garbagey.
I've made some money off data really fast.
Yeah.
In the
Get in, get out. ZIL continuing to pull back. Man, did we ever sell the top on this, guys? We're fucking awesome. Yep.
That's a beautiful trade.
Yep. I think I got stopped out right around here due to our 1.5 ATR trailing stop, which I updated all the way up to here. We got in right around here is where we got into this trade. I was very excited about this. I wish I had seen it here, but see, it's just, these are signs you got to look for, guys. You see how we have falling bearish volume here, like rising bullish, falling bearish. That's a sure sign of a continuation. You know, I mean, if sellers are getting exhausted here, well, I mean, hey, buyers are going to step in and they're going to start buying again. You know, price goes up, price goes down, price goes up, price goes down. Eventually, the buyers are going to step back in if there's not enough bearish volume.
I think we might be looking at an important close on the hourly for Bitcoin right now.
You know what? Let's go ahead and take a look back over at regular Bitcoin. So,
we are.
Yeah, and all right. So, guys, you know, I know, I'm sorry, you're used to Justin's way of doing TA, but you know, kind
everyone's
of
different. That's the whole point.
Yeah. So if we closed, by the way, guys, above,
well, that's 95. What I'm saying. Look at the hourly. Like we only got 10 minutes to the hourly, and a close like that, I think, will be a very bullish case.
Oh yeah, because I mean we haven't even.
Yeah, and we're above all resistance. I mean, looks very good.
Oh yeah, and we're closing this in like 12 minutes.
So I'm saying it's not too far away. So this looks pretty good.
Let's look at Ethereum. I kind of. Where can we find a way to crawl into Ethereum? Because
you're gonna have to find that pullback, man. Like that's just so overextended.
Here, let me pull off. Sorry, this is so confusing with Quadrigo ATR on. If you're not like designing a trade. Oof.
Yeah, that oof. Look at longing it from there just seems ridiculous. But coming down,
I mean, you've got to retest this area. So I would put limit order. I would put a limit order at like 239, 239.25.
I like that.
Yeah, because I imagine just like that we will have to retest this this resistance turn support.
What I would look at.
We'll have to retest this again.
See that hanging man candle?
You're gonna get it.
Do you see that hanging man candle in there?
What you talk about?
Right, one more to your right. Oh,
right
two more to your right.
Right here?
Yes. So the top of that wick, it's high. What I would usually do is look at putting my order $1 or whatever, just a little bit above that, because I do believe that when it wicks down, it'll touch at least the top of that. That's how I usually do those type of trades on pullbacks.
All right. Well, then let's say, you know, conservatively, you would think I would have memorized which one I need to click on to do this, but I do not. This area, like in here, is where we are expecting.
That's exactly where I'm talking about, somewhere in there.
Yeah. So, expect a pullback here, but guys,
I think that'll be a wick. I think it'll be a wick and bought back up and continue on its way if it keeps this bullish activity up.
But you know, guys, I mean, we're sellers. I don't know. I can't. Sellers. I don't know where sellers are. I thought they were going to take over. I mean, anybody who's been looking at my TA for the last few weeks, you know, I've been anticipating a 7K drop. You know, when let's say that there were people who were very, very bullish, and you know they got slapped in the face at 10K, but you know I just did not.
I've been bullish myself, and it's been rough through this 9,300 range, but I haven't let go of it because this is kind of what I've been expecting, and I'm glad it's playing out so far.
Yeah, we've been basically at this price since May, and we're almost in July.
Yep, and in the past I had a problem with over trading and times of no action. That's why I've been trying to be more patient with my position. Haven't had to close out any in the negative yet, so.
Yeah, I think I've been in maybe 2 or 3 Bitcoin positions tops since May. I entered a Bitcoin short here, nailed it. Bitcoin short here, nailed it. And then, you know what? I put in a Bitcoin long here yesterday, and I think I just hit take profit 2 on that.
Oh, you probably had to have with that wick to, what was that on Bybit? It was 96.70. So
yeah, so that was a 4-hour trade, and I opened that one here on the break of this trend line. It's like, hey, it's boom, 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 boom. We don't break it. Breaks up above this trend line. That's a long signal to me. It's a great setup.
Resistance becomes support there. Boom.
Yeah, and I made sure to have a wide stop, which was good because I think my stop was ultimately around 92.11, or right around here. So held and then continue onwards. So all right, let's take a look. We never did find So is it time to get back into VET? Maybe. Falling.
Another one.
If we close back above.
Today's close is important.
If we can close above 100, I think on the 3-day, but maybe on the daily. If we close above 100/98, just that general area, long it, because we will be heading to. Let's pull out. There we go. Pull out my my TA. Well, that's. Where are you? Here we go. Strong. Oof. Look at this. Oh, look at this. Divergence. Oh. It's so strong. So yeah, if we can
That's looking good there.
Maybe we're already closing back above it.
Yeah. I mean, no, it's still below it current. Oh, nope. You are right there. Man, yeah, looking at that close. That closes today as well, right?
Yeah.
That looks good. With a close right there, that's good. I think that.
Guys, I think, I mean, and look, if you look at it this way, on the 3-day we held boom, boom, boom. That's 9 days where we tried to break below 90/100 and we just couldn't. So this is also like a very, very strong support. Let's take a look. What does that look like here? Attempted here. 1, 2, 3. Another attempt. Yeah, it's very strong looking. So
yeah, I like that at a close there for sure.
Yeah, so let's look at this as like an order block rather than support and resistance. So something like this. I would imagine if we were to zoom down on the normal levels. Yeah. Okay.
And I wouldn't have a problem putting a stop just below that wick on the current candle.
All right, so VET, REN, those are the shitcoins that are looking best right now. Fun. It's not looking so fun. Looks like we're gonna get a pullback.
Yeah, that looks like a long squeeze.
This is pretty strong. What does that look like? Power of the trend line, guys. Eyes on the prize. The volume is really strong. Yeah, I can't find one thing in the price action where I'm like, ooh, this is like so amazing. But it's hard to argue with the bullish volume.
I mean, right now, if it closes where it is, it's still above the old resistance. I mean,
yeah.
So
maybe one more pullback to the 22 area. Maybe just a little bit more.
23 area. Yep.
Maybe just a little bit more
But then again,
accumulation.
then again, it could have already happened right now in that candle. There's some very interesting.
Maybe. Bullish.
One of those ones.
You know, what can I say? If we close the
TNB.
day
Great.
above where we're closing the day right now, boom, right up to here. Probably TNB. We should have been in this already. It's just, the breaking Bitcoin system is not super highly tested for the low sat coins.
Well, low sats are tough.
Yeah, the low sat coins are it's hard to build a system for. And so the only reason why I've been so gung ho is because, hey, alt season. The alts have just been so bullish. You can just kind of throw a dart, and I've been using the breaking Bitcoin system as kind of like, okay, this one is more bullish than that one, and it's been kind of a good thing, but it's just been hard to know which one's gonna do the best. And yeah, so if we close above here, I would want to stay along this. I know you might think it's overextended, but
yeah, but it's it's there. I mean, looking
Yeah.
at that has just as much opportunity for more upside to me. As
yeah, this
downside.
is like a 3x since May. Jeez.
Yeah, TNB.
What am I doing in my life?
Why aren't we all rich?
TNB, more like TMI, right?
No, give me a little bit more information.
Maybe it's time to long hot.
I've always had myself a little bag of hot just in case. So I hope it starts going up. I collected some more there at 5 sats.
Okay, that's good.
But I don't know why. It's just one of those hobby coins for me.
Here's what really stands out to me. Where's the bearish volume going? So lots of bearish volume. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Some heavy right there. Dun dun. Boom.
Now we're starting to get
dink.
Influx of
dink.
Volume coming in.
Dink. Dink. There's where's the bearish volume? So we got this bottomy candle right here at 4 sats. No lower. You shall not pass.
Yeah, 4. That's why I bought a couple more little bags at 5.
Mid sats. Let's run through it. I've taken up so much time with this. Kind of bearish looking at this point, but
yeah, that looks exactly like the ones you were talking about earlier, where you can't predict that up movement.
Yeah,
you'd expect downside.
I feel like we'll probably accumulate a little bit more here and then head up, but for right now, it looks bearish. So.
Yep. That also looks bearish. That could. Depending on the close.
Nah, it looks like we filled some stuff here and then break back down. Maybe back down to. Yeah, I think that's what I'd like to see. So we distributed a little bit up here after, which is like a huge amount actually. This is like 50% move, and then I don't know. Maybe we reaccumulate here and then move up. Let's go down time frame.
Wait for the close again, because there could be both arguments there.
Higher lows. We have higher lows. Lower highs. You know what, guys? This is just consolidation. You can't really say one way or the other. We've got strong resistance here. Got fine. Just breathe in.
Ascending triangle.
I would long this just because I would expect to see more consolidation this way.
Yep. If it closes the way it is now, I believe longing it would be okay.
Yeah, so I would consider longing this area, and then at any point, if I ended up below this, just dump it, move on.
Ooh, I like that. We didn't close above 96, but I do like that we closed.
Which one are you looking at?
I'm just talking about Bitcoin hourly right now. We just.
Oh, you're still in Bitcoin. Okay. OGN, meh. 5. Get out. It's in the house. It's in the house. Get out.
Bees in the house.
More pullback. I would expect a pullback. Probably to here.
Yep. Give yourself nice of 3 black crows.
Beam, pull back to this area right here. Look at that. Yeah, it totally wants to pull back to this area right here. Buy the shit out of it when it gets back to this area. Probably, actually, I would imagine this is the area to buy it.
That whole block.
This is the order block where you buy beam people. I almost said meme. It's probably it's probably like Freudian slip. Buy meme here, guys. Boom. Soul. Strong. I kind of like it.
That looks good.
Kava, pull back.
Mm-hmm.
And pull back over.
Depends on the club.
Can't tell, guys. You just can't tell. However, I would say let's make ourselves.
I think there's more pullback than that. That's just my instinct, though.
I don't like this trend line. Nah, that kind of feel. I do like this trend line, and then this one makes more sense. Okay, so when I look at these trend lines, it looks like we're getting decreasing bearish momentum. So I know we say this, don't think of trend lines as something like, oh, this is controlling price. Trend lines are just, they give you a sense of
ability to read it.
I think of it as the slope of bearish momentum or the slope of bullish momentum. And then when you see the slope breaks, when the slope changes, you can be like, oh, okay, well, the bearish momentum is shifted. So we're getting a turning point in this area. So I can start thinking about, like, maybe I can take a long now because, now you can start getting an idea about where the turning points are. So I know Justin has commented on it, but yes, the trend lines don't control things, but they do give you a sense of what price is going to do. XTC here, I see this as consolidation. So, boom, we're just consolidating.
I like that. I like Tezos there. I mean, that looks like a solid.
We're like right on the point of control, or actually, like, we're right under the point of control. So we're at 2.8, and that's point of control is 2 at 2015. Truth is, I would like to see Tezos pull back to this area. Pull back here, or maybe the truth is, I'll actually pull back to like there-ish.
Yeah, clear out liquidity there.
Boom. And people have set their stops here. What, you think we're not going to stop these people out before we head up? No, they got to go. TT, pull back probably.
Mm-hmm.
Zen, I had this area marked out as buy Zen in this area. And here we are. What do you think?
She's pulling back up. I mean, that might be a good zone right now. I mean, I like it. I like that formation. I think that I mean, you don't even need it to break a higher high for it to be a good trade there. I mean, you could set your take profit a little under.
This was probably where the order block was, and I probably over anticipated it here. This was probably the area to buy it, and then now we're a little above it. Mm-hmm. I like that. So I would consider picking up Zen Bitcoin here. I think we've already had our pullback on that. It's been pulling back for the last since roughly the 12th, 13th, so a week and a half.
I also like how low time transformation is on it.
Ethereum Classic is one of the coins that I really wanted to open a short on. And the system just would not give me a short. WADA would not fire. It's just been kind of lazily dropping here. Here, let me pull this up on so as you see here, I did no signal after 3 candles. We close it below when there's finally a WADA signal for the initial. Then at this point, I'm like, well, we're kind of like too late to the party. I could have maybe opened one here, but then we didn't have WADA, so I was like, Oh well. So Ethereum Classic gets away from us, and we close back above here. I am hoping we can get another close below our continuation, because Ethereum Classic just feels very bearish to me. I mean, especially when you look at what Ethereum Bitcoin is doing. Like, okay, so this is Ethereum Classic. Now let's remember Ethereum Bitcoin.
2 different realms. Just because it has the word Ethereum in it.
It's a whole other world. It's a whole other world that we're looking at here. So, here I was kind of like trying to find trend lines, and I couldn't even find a good working trend line. Now I would probably do something like that. And yeah, actually, I mean,
it's ugly.
It's ugly, but also, maybe we could easily get like a nice strong. Let's say that's kind of a break there. A nice strong pullback to this area. Maybe.
Definitely within the realm of possibility.
Yeah. Anyway, what were we looking at? That's right, we were running through mid-sats. CX. GN. Definite pullback on this one. And you know what? This almost looks like a pump and dump.
Yeah, and then a crazy long pullback all the way down to there, yeah.
Definitely something like this. Maybe here. Retouch that. I don't know, definitely this area at least.
I don't know. A lot of me feels like that's going to sell right through that.
Entirely possible. Yeah. Pull back. So we looked at that. Zcoin. Yeah, pullback.
Yeah, I see pullback there.
EOS. So
EOS has been struggling lately.
Another one of the majors that has just.
I mean, there's a chance that that's bottomed out there. So, I mean, look for a higher low on that.
It's a little ugly.
It is, but I mean, I do kind of expect majors to start doing some things here.
Yeah, I imagine we will get a tap of, what is this, 26.25 basically. If you look there, we got a little baby bump of liquidity. Things aren't bullish enough for us to be like, oh, let's just forget about that liquidity. Yeah. So obviously we're going to tap that place. Are we going to break down? I don't know. I didn't think XRP was going to break down, and we did. So
yeah, go back to that real quick. Like, how's XRP doing right now?
Okay.
Is it still dumping off? Bought back up a little bit, but still.
So my stop was here. This is my stop. Fuck you, XRP. Every time. Come on.
All right. Well, I think that we went a little longer than we thought we would on that. So, Jack, do you want to still go into the news here?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's hit the news real quick. Won't dwell too long on it. And
so, and before you get into that, what's some things to note here? You think, Alex? Of course, people are going to be getting posts from us in the premium group, but REN right now looks good. Like just kind of an overview of it. I mean, Ethereum looks great. Just wait for the
Ethereum looks great. And a few of the others. ZEC is starting to look good. Like you mentioned, REN.
QKC, I do believe, is looking good, or QLC.
There's some real gems out there right now, guys. Don't overlook alts just because Bitcoin is looking bullish, but it's time to stop overlooking Bitcoin too. Bitcoin has kind of rested for a few months, and things looking very bullish. Bitcoin, Ethereum.
Especially with that consolidation around 9,300, I think that we got some upside here coming our way. Which
Bitcoin, Ethereum, and pullbacks on most of the alts, at least for the foreseeable future, maybe 2-3 weeks. It's hard to tell.
We may be beginning to see majors start to do a little bit better.
That would be nice. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyway, thanks guys for your patience. I know I probably rambled for a little while. I'll turn this back over to Jeff.
No worries.
For sure.
All
All right,
good.
let's dive into the news real quick. We'll do a quick overview. All right, let's start by reviewing what's going on in the traditional markets today. We see that stock markets wavered on Monday. Investors hoping for a reopening of the economy are kind of conflicted with the ongoing concerns about the ability of the global leaders to stop the COVID outbreak from spreading any further. So, good news on one side with the reopening, bad news that maybe there's an uptick in the numbers. S&P up about 0.5% today, Dow up about 0.3, and Nasdaq up almost 1%. So generally things are kind of in the green. S&P seemed to have recovered some losses from early in the morning, and Europe opened lower, but then seemed to rise throughout the morning, and eventually it's now in the positive territory, whereas the Asia markets kind of ended a mixed day. And of course, investors worried about the spread of COVID cases in the U.S., with the top advisor to the U.S. president stating on Sunday that officials are indeed preparing for a possible second round of infections. So, gotta remain vigilant, I guess, on the COVID front. Wear your masks. Investors are also watching a potential issue brewing in terms of trade tensions between U.S. and China, with Beijing recently stating that they're going to be temporarily halting poultry imports from Tyson after news that the big part of their workforce has tested positive for COVID last week. It's still not clear if the bad news is going to be enough to completely dissuade investors from continuing with the rebound, but there are signs on starting today that governments are going to continue easing restrictions surrounding COVID. In England, of course, Boris Johnson said he's prepared to announce a relaxation of the lockdown rules. And I think we're seeing something similar in other countries, Canada, Spain, among others. Of course, stocks have risen in recent weeks in hopes of the economic recovery as governments around the world stepped up lending and spending to fight the damage from the pandemic. Although markets took heavy losses in some weeks, S&P 500 is of course down only about 4% year to date. So I guess we are at an inflection point in the market. Where do we go next? All right, let's move on to our kind of first story here. Coming from CNBC, U.S. banks are swimming in money as deposits increase by $2 trillion amid the COVID outbreak. A record $2 trillion in cash has surged back into deposits across accounts in U.S. banks since the COVID outbreaks first struck in January. The wall of money flowing into banks has no precedent in history, so this must be like the greatest influx of money into U.S. banks ever recorded. In April alone, deposits grew by 865 billion. That's more than the previous record for an entire year. So, I mean, this probably can't be overlooked.
That's crazy.
In April alone, almost $1 trillion flowed in terms of cash. That's more than the record. That's more than the record for an entire previous year. That's impressive.
These numbers, they are starting to print so many dollars. It's starting to sound like fucking Zimbabwe dollars. It's like, oh, $1 trillion here, $1 trillion there. I could go buy some bread for $1 trillion.
What's interesting about this is this is money flowing back into U.S. banks. So
we don't know
we
how
covered
these people are getting this money.
well, you know how we covered earlier this year. You guys remember we did cover a story on Breaking Bitcoin about how much cash was being hoarded and saved in overseas banks, right? So everything from Australian to New Zealand banks having a huge hoard of the U.S. Dollar supply overseas. I'm assuming that this is what this refers to. That for one reason or another, maybe holders and investors are feeling a little shaky in foreign banks. Why would you move your USD hoard back inside the borders of the U.S.? Maybe there is some concern among holders in foreign banks. Maybe foreign banks are going to be in trouble. Does this hint towards something like that? I do not know, but maybe we can get some input from you guys or people in the comments later. Deposit. Sorry, you're saying?
I've got input.
Let's hear it.
So, one of the big problems with the Eurodollar system is that essentially foreign banks can lend out an infinite amount of Eurodollars, essentially create like US dollars out of thin air, because of fractional reserve banking. So it is a good thing to see that the dollars come back into the U.S. dollar system, but I'm worried that it's going to kind of collapse the euro dollar system, because without even a fractional reserve, like if they don't have any US dollars deposited in foreign banks, then the entire euro dollar system is going to grind to a halt. They won't be able to do their euro dollar money printing.
Sure is an interesting trend, and I wonder if it's an indication of something to be brewing under the banking surface.
Mhm.
As many know, I'm quite bearish on this V bottom recovery. I'm thinking this is one big dead cat bounce, but maybe it's,
I am of that idea.
they're already kind of prepping us for it, right? With this whole, wave
Yeah,
2 of
We're
COVID
right.
narrative.
Right in the middle of it, I believe.
Wave 1 never stopped. Like, what wave 2?
Right.
Yeah, right.
And with retail maybe haven't been the primary, well, maybe not primary buyer. I can't imagine it was all retail buying this up, but maybe retail's a big bag holder with the recent rally, and that's the kind of clientele that might end up getting burned.
Yeah, you go on Reddit and r/stocks.
Yep.
There are people who they sold the market and they waited until the market recovered and the market made essentially relatively equal highs. They're like, okay, time to re-enter the market. There are people buying the tops, and they're buying the tops with their 401ks and their Roth IRAs, and these are
That's one.
long-term investors who they look at the 200-day moving average, and which by the way, we're just busting above and below all over the place right now. But normally the 200-day moving average is something that we're like rarely on the other side of it. But what are they buying? They're buying literally inflated assets. They are been inflated due to the printing of all this money.
Yeah.
Yeah, printing that goes back pretty much to 09, right? So
Yep. Ever since
a
quantitative
reinflated
easing.
bubble is how I look at it.
I think that might have a big thing to do with. I think I read in that article there that they're saying a very large part of that was working with the Paycheck Protection Program, which that stimulus money that they're just getting them to try to re-inject that cash back into the bank, like re-stimulate the economy. I'm like that. To me, there's always a problem when the government's giving you back money. I think they're trying to get this to keep going, and I think that there's a lot of people right now that are buying the top. Makes me worry for the middle class.
Sure feels that way. But all right, let's hop into the next story. So this one kind of came out on Friday and caused some waves, I guess. Trump's nomination of SEC chief for U.S. attorney puts crypto on lurch. Now, so the Southern District of New York attorney could be getting replaced by Jay Clayton, the former SEC head, and of course the existing attorney Jeffrey Berman was, I think, initially nominated and assigned by Trump, and there's a lot of controversy coming out of this one. Some saying this is a relatively personal retribution move by Trump, seeing that Berman was the guy that was kind of investigating some of Trump's people, right? I think he was looking at Giuliani, and then before that, of course, he was looking into Michael Cohen as well, right? So this raised a lot of eyebrows, I think, on Capitol Hill with this dramatic shuffling. But in terms of the significance to the crypto industry, of course, Jay Clayton, SEC chair, might be leaving his role from SEC, and he's had major influence on cryptocurrency, seeing that the SEC under his watch chased many crypto companies, including Telegram and Block.one for their ICO money raises, and Clayton's successor to the SEC top spot would likewise probably shape the next few years of the cryptocurrency industry, right? Would be interesting to see if we could maybe see Hester Pierce, aka Crypto Mom, in there. So I guess remains to be seen. There's some controversy, like I said, brewing over this sacking of Berman. But maybe things are, maybe there'll be a shifting. Like we said, I think we just had a story last week on Breaking Bitcoin. Is there a changing sentiment in the crypto industry? Or in at least the crypto regulatory industry, let's say. You know, potentially that the book that dropped from the former National Security Advisor Bolton, revealing that maybe it was Trump putting the hammer down on the crypto industry. Not so much this SEC chair Clayton, but what do you guys think? Perhaps Trump is, it could be that he doesn't win re-election, right? And there might be a bit of a shake-up, and maybe if Trump was the biggest roadblock in the administration toward crypto, more friendly regulation, maybe Trump being on the outs would be a good thing for us.
I can think of 1,000 reasons why Trump being gone would be good. But yeah, sure.
I mean, I would agree with that as well. And if you just get someone in there who's got new ideas, who's not 100 years old, like I believe that'll be good just for industry. I don't want to get into politics or anything like that.
Well,
but
unfortunately, Biden is still also basically 100 years old. But
I think they're both bad.
Yeah.
To be honest, it kind of sucks. It's embarrassing that America's like, oh, here's our two choices, and you guys voted them in. I'm like, that guy doesn't remember his name. Like, it's silly to me, but I mean, I think over time that we hopefully will. It has to go that way in my head. Like, these technologies are necessary.
If we had Andrew Yang maybe on the Democratic ballot, or
Yang, because at least he's being progressive about these things.
Yeah, I think Yang would have been somebody who would have could have been counted on to bring up the Bitcoin argument.
Yeah,
but
maybe not even like the way it kind of seems like now is like government's against this. We got this system, screw your system. It looks like someone like him, like I believe, would actually take some time to look at the challenges, look at the pros and cons, and be like, will this work better for us? And if so, use that. Like, I hate that it's like a constant fight rather than us trying to better ourselves.
I think there's people that probably want it that way.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's.
I'm sure Trump has got advisors and people who whisper in his ear. So
I'm sure
even
he's got Bitcoin.
Yeah, so even if Bolton was, laying it all at the feet of Trump, it's possible that there was other people telling Trump to maybe crack the whip, right, on Bitcoin. But you remember, like maybe think of the context, right? Like Bolton's story, says that Trump behind closed doors told the Treasury Secretary to potentially look into it, right? But this was back like in 17 or 18. So like that was right at the top of the market, hysteria, right? So I could imagine, when Bitcoin and crypto markets were kind of hitting their all-time highs, phones were ringing, people were talking, and maybe that was a time to have brought up that conversation. So maybe it makes sense to me that at the peak of the market fever, Trump is in an office somewhere saying, yeah, maybe we have to somebody look into this. But since then, I feel like crypto's maybe kind of faded a little bit in terms of like the being on the radar of people.
I think that's simply because it's been in a bearish trend for a while.
For sure. Nothing raises, awareness like the crazy price moves. But who knows? Maybe again, sentiment, times have changed, things have shifted over there, and maybe Trump will be on the way out, or maybe whoever whispers in his ear is saying, no, now we're taking the market in another direction, right? Like let's not forget, that comptroller, comptroller of the currency, that pick was somebody I think straight out of. Someone who's advocated digital currency, right? So like we have seen some regulatory assignments that would suggest that maybe tides are shifting in their favor, and maybe this is another step in that.
At least it's on the radar.
Totally. All right, let's move on to our third story. Staggering 35 billion in Bitcoin is lost forever, claims Chainalysis. So blockchain analytics firm Chainalysis says that 3.7 million Bitcoin, worth about 35 billion right now, is lost and will likely never be recovered. So according to Chainalysis, 20% of Bitcoin's total supply hasn't been moved for 5 years or longer. So a number the firm categorizes as lost BTC, meaning that the owner no longer has the private keys required to access their holdings. So it considers approximately 11 million Bitcoin out of Bitcoin's total supply, or about 18.6 million BTC, to be long-term investments. So we can see that about 11 million, it looks at it as people locking it up, right? And I think that's one of the great.
in 100 years, like those are gonna be like the treasure hunters, like to where they're going through like old, like tech dumps and stuff, looking for hard drives to see if they can find an old Bitcoin or something.
If they're not already, for sure.
Yeah,
But it
definitely.
goes.
I mean, think about it. You would, if you could, get the keys, then all you need to do is brute force. Like all you need to do is brute force passwords. But I'm sure some of the passwords have got to be crappy passwords, right?
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
or
Some have got to be crappy passwords.
someone's old hard drive that has all the passwords and Bitcoin on it that they just threw it away back in '09 or
And
2010.
this is so rare that I mean, hard drives are not. They're not built to last.
I know, but you got to think about what kind of tech we'll have in the future that can bring it back.
Potentially, yeah. There's always data recovery, but a lot of people need to consider this is that, like, in the first decade of Bitcoin's existence, like the vast majority of its production has occurred, right? Like most of it's been a massive explosion in Bitcoin's
Mhm.
inflation, I guess, is how I look at it, over the first decade. But that's it. Now Bitcoin is slowing to a trickle in terms of production. We've already produced like 85% of the supply, and now you're learning that. Maybe 11 million of these coins are locked up, for people hodling for the long-term future. So
I
that's
think
another
this
big
will have a
portion of it.
big. I think this will have a big on the massive price movements that Bitcoin is capable of.
Right. So anything that points to the supply being even smaller than we suspect it is could be a relatively
And
good
that's
news
and
story.
I mean that's substantially smaller. 21 million to like 16, like gee.
All right, final story for today, gentlemen. That's going to be PayPal and Venmo are planning to roll out a crypto buying and selling service. Now, this is coming from CoinDesk. This is still preliminary, nothing's confirmed, but supposedly insider sources or what they call well-placed industry sources told CoinDesk that they're going to have some sort of built-in wallet functionality to store crypto at PayPal and Venmo, and it might be going as far as offering actual purchase of
Man,
crypto through PayPal and Venmo.
that's
And they're
huge.
currently, insider sources are saying that they're working with multiple exchanges in order to source liquidity for their customers. So I think this is huge.
I think
This
that's
could be
huge.
very, very big. I mean, we already have Cash App offering.
They saw the money the Cash App is making. They're like, oh my
I
god, why not
I
us?
I know so many people that use Venmo who don't even know about Bitcoin, anything like that. Just imagine the amount of money that's going to flow into that just by people seeing it for the first time, or some like it's going to have a bullish effect on Bitcoin for sure.
Definitely.
And,
Sure, certainly helps with legitimizing it, right?
and
Oh, absolutely.
especially if there's another bull market. Imagine you've got money sitting in your
Mhm.
Venmo that's just
And how
basically
quickly it can just be
value.
transferred over. Like, man, that's going to be huge
Well,
for
Venmo is
people.
already basically instantaneous,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
but
going to be one of the
decentralized. So the
fastest domino
people don't
effects we've ever seen in price.
know. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think another thing to be noted is, this kind of helps with the scaling
Mhm.
debate, right?
Yep.
If
There's other
if
layers.
all I know this flies in the face of holding your own keys and decentralizing the process, and trust not verified, don't trust necessarily, but I think it's with the crypto being held at on PayPal or at Venmo, and any kind of transfers user to user using PayPal, they might be feeless, they might be instantaneous on top of that. So it kind of offers a solution to the scaling issue, at least at the interim, right? Let's be honest, most people, especially if you're a noob, you're coming onto the scene and you're buying your first bit of crypto on Venmo, on PayPal, and then you do want to kind of forward it around, you're probably not going to withdraw it. You're just going to use that simple send and receive feature already built into PayPal to instantly, for zero fees, transfer the Bitcoin or what have you to your other buddy who's got PayPal, right? So kind of has like a bit of a side benefit. Certainly kind of pours cold water in any scaling criticisms. In the meantime, you can certainly see where this is going. Custody and payment processing, custody type solutions are certainly going to be one interim solution for scaling up some of these assets.
Yeah, you can send Bitcoin basically instantaneously because you never actually had the Bitcoin physically. Venmo was holding onto it for you.
Mhm.
And for most people, that might just serve the purposes perfectly well, even if the hardcore adherents think this is
Yeah.
sacrilegious. You can have it both ways, I suppose. If you want to do it hold your money firmly in your cold hands, you get your seeds, hide your wallet, and have it done there. But certainly an amazing on ramp potentially for our industry.
Oh,
Hide your seeds, hide your wallet, and hide your private keys because they hacking everybody out here.
hacking everybody.
So according to this, PayPal declined to comment on these plans, but
They're involved.
San Francisco-based cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase
you are
and
really
Luxembourg.
for
I mean, who
real.
else? I wouldn't expect anything less. I
You
imagine
found your IP
Coinbase
address and everything.
and Luxembourg-based Bitstamp were mentioned as likely contenders by the sources. Of course, Coinbase and Bitstamp both declined to comment, so I think they're keeping this tight under the wraps right now, clearly. But the word is leaking, and again, this could be very, very bullish for our industry, at least in terms of raising its profile.
I don't know why they're playing so coy. Of course, they were going to copy Square's
Right.
idea. Of course. I mean, it's been so wildly successful. You would have to be just the dumbest executive in the world to be like, okay, well, let's copy their idea and also make money.
Totally. As this article mentions, companies like Square are already making money with their crypto offerings, and Dorsey, of course, rolled out Bitcoin purchases in the Cash App in mid-2018, and Cash App has reported $306 million from the Bitcoin revenue alone in their most recent earnings report. So I think
It's doing okay.
I think the lion's share of their profits now come from Bitcoin purchases on their platform. So
And
highly
what?
lucrative.
What would convince anyone that was going to stop? Like that wasn't going to keep gaining momentum.
Especially once the government started depositing $1,200 into people's cash apps, all the more likely, I guess, that we'll see a bit of an
And that's
influx.
what I'm saying. Like Venmo is another layer of that because I know so many people that use Venmo that don't know anything about crypto. So it's just gonna get it in front of so many more new hands,
Very promising, very promising. Maybe today's uptick in price has something to do with this. But with that said,
yeah, that's definitely the most bullish news I've heard in a little bit.
For sure. All right, well, we've been going for about hour and a half, gentlemen. It's actually been a solid Monday market update. So I appreciate Alex and Jason, both of our analysts, coming online today to talk shop, I suppose.
Always happy to ramble about price charts.
Absolutely. We'd be doing it anyway, so.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. So, everybody else, be sure to check us out in the Discord. Justin will be returning on Thursday. In the meantime, we might be back again later this week with more of these roundtable updates with some of our staff. So,
Getting it figured out for you guys.
Indeed. Hope everybody enjoyed today's show, and we'll catch you boys tomorrow.
Have a good one.
Everyone.
Cheers.